election campaigns, we often hear promises like, vote for me and I'll make life easier for you. However, after the election, these promises frequently go unfulfilled. This is Elected to Serve on Green TV, and we go the extra mile to bring exceptional elected officials who are keeping their campaign promises. Today, we will be shining a spotlight on the leader who many are saying is making a difference in Ibeju Lekki local government. We are talking about no other person but Honorable Abdulahi Sesan Olowa.
Welcome, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning, and you're welcome. Very well, and you?
Fine, so we'd like to go straight into the questions. By the way, this is actually the maiden edition of this very program.
Okay.
And we're going to be going from here to other places. First question, what inspired you to venture into politics and what drives your passion for public service?
Wow. So, well, politics is not something that comes to people by accident. Sometimes is driven by some kind of, upbringing. I think growing up, I had the privilege of growing up within sort of a political family. My late dad was also a civil servant, and in part, he was a local government staff. While growing up in Epe, we had this early exposure to political activities. And so in my years in the university, I was involved in student unionism. In the Lagos State University, I was actually the speaker of the Lagos State Student Union government. But when I left school, I didn't come into politics directly. First was I had to take a job in the private sector where I had more than 17 years, working in various institutions from consulting to banking, to other ventures. And so while I was in the private sector, I was still very much involved with what was happening within my own community. I was very close to home. I participated in every elections, from 1999 up to this moment. And even, in fact, in 2011, I made an attempt to run for the Lagos State House of Assembly, but of course was not successful, up until year 2020, when the opportunity to vie for the position of the local government chairman came, and I joined the race, and by the grace of God, the rest is history. Now I am here as the chairman of Ibeju Lekki local government. So over the years, I've played, one form of politics, either as a student or within our community. And I've also done a lot of reading about politics, both nationally and globally. So I've been influenced by so many political leadership or history. For example, that of late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. These are things that inspire us to want to also be in public service.
Okay, so as chairman of the Ibeju Lekki local government, what are your proudest accomplishments so far? How do they impact the community?
So now, when I sit down in my office and I see smile in the faces of people, I think that actually gives me sort of comfort. And so it's not just about the bricks and mortars, you understand. For example, every month we have women who clean our streets, about 350, and we've been paying them for the past 2 years. These are women who do not have any work and they are home. So our government decided that, look, let's engage them. It's part of poverty reduction strategy. However, we're not just going to be giving it to them like, a free meal. They must also try and clean our streets. And so when they come to receive their money every month, and I see the smile, the excitement, I feel very happy. When I see our students on a Saturday go to the Pan-Atlantic University to take their tutorials in sciences, commercial, and arts free of charge, the local government takes them, we provide transportation, we even provide the meals for them. and the lectures are offered free in a very, very excellent environment like that university. You know, when I go to visit them sometimes and I see the way they are happy, I'm also very, very proud. And, you know, I thank the university for, you know, doing that for us. I mean, the Pan-Atlantic University. So a lot of this makes me very, very happy beyond other areas where we have, you know, intervened. But these are human beings that are feeling the impacts of our government. 3 years ago, before we arrived there was nothing like that. A lot of pupils in this local government would never have thought that they could sit in that environment. They were looking at the university as if it was a disconnect from the entire society. And part of our own was that, look, we were going to connect our people with the resources around here to create value for them. And so we're doing that one after the other. All the major institutions in the local government were reaching out to them that, look, you are part of the ecosystem. You must have something to contribute. And they are ready, so long as the government is also ready to work with them. So these are some of the things that makes us happy. Or when I see our gardeners go to school to cut the overgrown weeds in our primary schools, I'm happy. Now we don't allow our students hold cutlasses and cut the grasses. We have modern equipment, and we have gardeners across the local governments. We have gardeners who are on the payroll of the local government for the past 3 years. They go to schools to cut the grasses. So I'm happy. These are some of the things that makes me very happy.
Mentioned,
Yeah.
are there some ongoing projects you want to use this medium to?
We have so many ongoing projects.
That's actually what the show is all about.
We have so many ongoing projects. If you look at, our government is running on 4 key development pillars that are aligned with the Teams Plus agenda of Mr. Governor. And so when you look at each of those pillars, there are also sub-components of it. If you look at social development and security, that's the area where we have health, education, and all of that. So we have so many ongoing projects in education and health. Before we came to government, we have over about 27 primary schools in Ibeju, Lekki. And these are they are primary schools that have been in existence, you know. And then we discovered, after we moved around to do a sort of an audit of our infrastructure in schools, we discovered that most of our primary schools are in open fields, and they are very vulnerable. Pupils are very vulnerable because there is no perimeter fence in all of these schools. So security is porous. Students come to school, you know, sometimes some come 10 o'clock and they just spend an hour or 2 and then they run back to their respective homes. So there was no way the teachers could monitor. So we started the massive construction of perimeter fences in all our schools. We've done about 5 of them. And we didn't just do the fence, we also renovated the buildings. Not that the buildings were bad, but of course, when you don't maintain them, you know, they continue to decay until the point where they are no longer. So we did a lot of that. We're still doing so many of our schools, Iberikodo, Akodo, you know, Arapagi, you know, we are in all of this. The health centers, we have the same, you know, we had to improve the infrastructure of our health centers. So far, we've done about 5 health PACs, and we've constructed new one. Ibeju, Ayeteju, Orimedu, Soluolade is ongoing. Arapagi is ongoing. It's been completed. We're waiting for equipment and furniture so we can, you know, start full operation. You know, so if you move away from health and education and you go to probably roads infrastructure, look at this local government, very big. We're sitting on over 300 square kilometers of land size. That's very huge. And we are one of the fastest growing local governments in Nigeria. You know, so you have a lot of huge infrastructural gap in Ibeju, Lekki, i.e. drainage infrastructure, road infrastructure, even power. in the past, in the early 90s, lights don't go here because how many communities do you have? But with population increase and all of that, so the demand has far outweighed the capacity and all of that. So in road, we started with palliatives, doing road stabilization and all of that. But we're moving from stabilization to actual road construction. And right now we are doing about a kilometer of road. We're doing one in Orimedu and we're doing one in Igodoloja here. The Orimedu is about 550 meters of paved road with standard drainage, walkway, street lights. We're doing 450 meters here as well, standard road with drainage, with street lights and everything. And we are still going to do a lot of, road palliatives, And currently with the flooding going on around in Lagos due to the huge rain everywhere, you see, Ibeju Lekki is a peninsula. We are located between the Atlantic Ocean and the lagoon. So we have a lot of creeks in between Ibeju Lekki. And so whenever it rains, you find flood here and there. I'm sure you have.
Asking what are the challenges?
Yeah, so a lot of challenges, And right now, we are clearing those canals. We have over 3 swamp bogies currently in Ibeju Lekki. Channelizing. We are clearing all the creeks. The Betu Iwerekun Creek, which used to be a transportation route from Ibeju Lekki down to Etiosa in a quarter. But because of development, we've seen some, blockage along that,
with the state government.
along that. So, but you see, we have to clear that so the water can drain away. We're doing same in Shapati, the Shapati Canal that discharges into the Omu Creek. We have 2 swamp bogies clearing from Shapati to Igbojia, another one clearing from Lakowe to Oribanwa, Lagasa. And we have just finished the clearing of Kajola, Onishan Canal. So we're doing all of this simultaneously.
You have an impressive journey from grassroots to leadership. Do you mind sharing with us some of the challenges you faced on this journey?
Yeah, there are challenges, obviously, and there is no endeavor without challenges. So the challenges will come from so many, areas, but I'll speak to the ones that are very major. One of the greatest challenges has to do with the society itself. We live in a society today where a lot of people have come to, see governments, from a very negative perspective. People don't trust a lot of us in governments. And so most of the time when government come out with policy, the reaction is usually very negative, regardless of whatever intention of government. That's number one. 2, it takes a while for people to actually have a buy-in in whatever government wants to do. I'll give you an example. We're telling people, do not dump waste on the highway. This road is costing the Lagos State government several billions of naira. And I want to use this opportunity to thank our governor for doing the Lekki-Epe road and now Lekki-Ibrahim Adesanya. If you are conversant with this Lekki-Epe Express, you know that 4 years ago, the travel time on this road, sometimes people sleep on the road due to bad road, but that has become history. Now, despite all this investment, now it bothers us that people would leave their home and dump waste on the highway. And we keep telling them, do not do this, but they will not listen. So we have a problem with the culture of our people, the attitude of our people. A lot of government initiatives, a lot of them are not successful because our people do not see it as their own. There's a disconnect. And so on our own part as government, we want them to own whatever we're doing. If we come up with a program or a policy, we want the people to see that this program or policy is designed because of you. It's for you. It's not just for us in government. That is there. We're also facing the challenge of funds. Of course, the funds available to government can never be enough, whether at federal, state, or local level. We know that there are myriads of challenges, but of course, we have to deal with them one after the other. So we are faced with the issue of fund. There are roads that we need to construct. We know it, but we can't do it. There are drainages we need to construct. We know it, but we cannot do it. These are challenges that, we are facing outside, the other ones.
Build on that. It's actually part of my question, but I like the fact that you have actually watered the ground already. So, of course, it's no longer news. So, I would like to ask, what does the new local government financial autonomy mean for Ibeju Lekki?
For Ibeju Lekki, it's not new, and I'll tell you why. Because the Lagos state model is quite different from a lot of states. Because if you mention financial autonomy, I will say that Lagos has always enjoyed financial autonomy, because the state government has never denied us of our funds. I mentioned the fact that we are doing a kilometer of roads. That runs into some hundreds of millions. And that's been funded 100% by the local government, not even a loan. So where do we get the money from? It's from our allocation. We're building a new secretariat here. During the EndSARS, this local government was burnt down. When I resumed here, my office was not as big as this. I was staying in a small cubicle as my official office. So I immediately put up this place to serve as a temporary office for the chairman and the vice chairman. And we started that project in front there. I don't know if you've seen it. A year ago, that project is costing us over 800, 900 million. So where are we getting the funds to do that? It's from our allocation. So it's because we enjoy that financial autonomy. All of the programs that I'm able to speak to, we can do those programs because the state does not tamper with our funds. So we are happy that this is happening in Nigeria, because we believe that if local government gets their financial autonomy across the whole country, they will be able to play their role as a tier of government. And so the gap between the government and the people will reduce. Because today people shout of insecurity, there's poverty and all of that. The local government can take a lot of burden from the state and federal government. These local governments were funding some students in school. They're on a scholarship. Even at secondary school level, Ibeju Lekki local government is offering scholarship to people. At university level, we are offering scholarship to people. These are funds that the local government has to offer these things. Just last month, we gave bursary to 270 students in tertiary school, 50,000 naira each. So that money is coming from us. On Thursday, we're going to be giving out 10 million grants, both grant and loans to, traders. And that's the first tranche of the 30 million naira.
And tricycle, how they?
Yeah, those tricycles, we just acquired them. We're using them for waste collection and transportation. We call them garbage collection tricycle. So the local government procure those things. So they go to our streets, to our households to pick waste, and people pay. And they take it straight to the landfill.
This wouldn't have been possible without the support.
Without the money we get from. So imagine if every local government in Nigeria is doing the same thing. That will have taken a lot of pressure away from the state and federal government. And that's why we are very happy in Lagos State that whatever we are doing in Lagos is going to be replicated across all the states of the Federation. So we are happy with the Supreme Court pronouncement. But in Lagos, it's not anything new to us. It's what we have been enjoying.
Impressive. So apologies to those who do not understand Yoruba, because the next question I'm going to be asking, I'll build a background in Yoruba. There's a popular song by Ebenezer Obey.
Yeah.
It's like, simply
there's
there's nothing you can do. If you like, give your head to people, they will still complain. So how do you tackle opposition? Don't let me use the word tackle. How do you handle criticism from opposition?
Oh, well, criticism is part of the strategic management process. And to tell you that I am very, very open to criticism. So from the word go, I knew there would be criticism. And so these criticisms will only make us better. So I'll tell you today, every WhatsApp group that residents of this local government are on, I am there. And to the extent that I am so detailed that if you make any comment about us, I will respond. If you tell me, oh, Mr. Chairman, some people, sometimes they won't direct it to me. They will just say that this problem. I'll tell you, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We're going to act on it. And after acting on it, I will provide feedback. And then this local government created a WhatsApp group called Ibeju Lekki Social Service Platform. Now, that platform was created essentially to tackle the issue, from our various communities. So let everybody say whatever whatever problems you are facing. If we cannot deal with it now, we'll also be transparent to tell you that we have acknowledged the issues, but these are the challenges we are facing. We cannot deal with it. So I personally believe that criticism is part of the game. Of course, you cannot satisfy everyone 100%, but we are interested in a larger majority.
Absolutely.
Who will benefit from every program. We did a community market here. I think our community market is probably is one of its kind, because at the period when subsidy was recently removed and the prices of food just escalated, the states, the Lagos state government and all local government, we all agreed to do some form of intervention. So Ibeju Lekki local government came up with a community market where we gave it. It can't even, it's not a discount, because a discount cannot be more than 100%. What we did was bring 3,000 naira and you get food item worth 9,000 naira.
Wow.
That's what we did. So that's not any discount anywhere. So we did the first one. The second one, we said bring 5,000 naira and get food worth 15,000 naira. Yes. This local government was bombarded with more than 3,000 people. And we are glad to say that at least 90% went home with food items. With 5,000 naira, they were getting food worth about 15,000. So we know that we will not be able to satisfy people 100%. But at least the majority of our people benefited from those programs. So we accept criticisms, we take the positives out of it, and we're able to. And that's why, a lot of people have given credit to our administration for having an open door policy, for having the listening ear. Look at the issue of flood that I mentioned. It was in the air last week, 2 weeks, but because we were part of the various groups and we are in our community, we live with them, we're able to respond swiftly. And today we are dealing with those issues one after the other.
What legacy would you want to leave behind as a chairman of the Ibeju Lekki local government?
Okay, so there's a central legacy and there will be legacies across sectors. But the central legacy is what I will talk about. For me, the legacy is that, one, we want to create a significant value, in governance. We want local government system to work again. When I was growing up, the local government was very strong. Local government will do road, they will construct drainages, they will construct school. They were there for everyone. And at some point, it was as if the system was going down. So when I had this opportunity of leading the local government, I told myself that we will run a functional government, a government that functions. And so gradually, we are setting that, we are laying that foundation. We want people to see us from the area of service. Government is service. And local government all over the world, they render community service. They are city managers. All the abroad that people go to, London, US, you see local government, they take charge of the security on the street, the waste management, the transportation and everything. That's what I want Ibeju Lekki to look like. I want Ibeju Lekki to work like a state, even though we are not a state. But I want this local government to function like a state, where we are on top of every issue that bothers us within this local government, whether it is health, education, environment, security, or transportation. That's the kind of legacy. And those legacies, you will see them. They are not, because they are not things that, it's just in the brain. When you look at it, you see, oh, these are things. For example, we are starting garbage collection tricycle as a local government. We know there is Loma, but of course we know that Loma will not be able to serve every community. So we are targeting the underserved. We are not looking at what Loma is doing. We are looking at the others that Loma is unable to service. And that is where our garbage collection tricycle is going. And when we start this, we scale it up, it becomes a part of us. Is that not a legacy?
Absolutely.
Even every administration that will come after us will continue to run that model. That's it. That's legacy. Look at the education system. That's legacy. We want our students to compete among the best in Nigeria. The Tolerant quiz competition that was done here recently, Ibeju Lekki public schools had first, second, and third.
Wow.
Yes.
Say that again.
Ibeju Lekki secondary school, Ibeju high school, Magbalade grammar school, and Iwerekun community high school. They came first, second, and third in the Tolerant science competition. And so what has happened is that in the last 3 years, we have exposed our students to the best academic, how will I put it now, exposure. They have some of the finest teachers so any opportunity we find, we just expose them. We also started our own inter-school debate and quiz competition as a local government. So first is that we created a platform for them to compete among themselves. Because I like to revive the good things that we did in the past. In the past, the Literary and Debating Society was a very strong competition among schools where the brightest of schools compete among themselves. So we brought that back. We want the brightest of pupils to compete among themselves. Let them even have a culture of competition. After that, we leverage our environment by partnering with schools that have better infrastructure to train them, which they did, and now we are seeing the results.
Interesting. Final question, Mr. Chairman. Building on what you mentioned about exposure and experience, what advice would you give any Nigerian or Lagosian aspiring to venture into politics?
So, you can't give what you don't have. Politics should be for people with experience, people who are highly skilled, and people who are intelligent. Now, all these things that I have mentioned, they are things you can acquire. They are not things that are out of the range for any of us. So, the moment you know that you have a passion to go into public service, you need to acquire the skills, the knowledge, because public service is not a joke. Otherwise, you will just come and be like every other person. When you get to public office, you are confronted with real life challenges of solving people's problems. And your knowledge and skills and your experience, they are the things that will help you to navigate and be able to offer solutions that, would have the sort of impact you are looking for. So you need the experience, whether from the public service or from the private sector. You need the personal discipline. You need to equip yourself professionally. You need to acquire knowledge. If you have all of these things and you have the fear of God, I believe you'll be able to successfully achieve your desire, because it encompasses everything. Even your image, your brand, everything is all about, experience. You are facing the issue of this or that, and that's why you see today, if Mr. President comes, he is going to go and hire people who can do the job. The Mr. President himself will not do the job. He will look for the best brain in the power sector to come and solve power issue. He will look for the best brain in the telecom sector to solve telecom. He will look for that's it. So public service requires people with experience and the competence to deliver.
Thank you for joining us on the maiden edition of Elected to Serve, Mr. Chairman. And today it has been an interesting, thrilling, engaging session with the elected chairman of Ibeju Lekki local government, Honorable Abdulahi Sesan Olowa. We'll go back to our studio for the concluding part of this program.
Join the movement. Don't just watch. Participate in shaping your community's future. The conversation does not end here. Stay tuned for the concluding part of this episode, where we bring to you an exclusive documentary showcasing all the projects that the executive chairman has undertaken during his administration. Till I come your way next time, I am Honorable Abdulahi. This is Elected to Serve on Green TV. See you next time.